Good morning Booktube and happy October. Okay, so let's start off this vlog positively and say that I reached 2,000 subscribers just last night. Today is Tuesday, it is Tuesday morning, and I finally hit 2,000. I'm like amazed, I'm amazed. I remember hitting 1,000 and being like, this is insane. This is insane. Like, at that time I watched, well, just before that I watched mainly big booktubers and very small booktubers, so I thought that my potential as a channel would be to have like 500 subscribers and that was gonna take me like forever. So now I'm here with 2K, and thank you so much to everybody who watches my channel. Thank you to everybody who's joined me very recently, because there are quite a few of you. Thank you to everybody who has supported me throughout like the year and almost year and a half maybe that I've been on Booktube. Now that that's over, you may wonder why I am coming to you from my car, because that's not my normal like vlogging locations. Well, last night something was going down on the book Twitters and some serious tea was spilled, which isn't unusual. There's a lot of tea flying around. However, this is the first time that I felt personally attacked by the tea. So I thought I would just give you a breakdown in case you don't know what was going on, or just like to give my opinion, although I'm pretty sure you all know what it is. I was made aware of a YouTube video from a Booktube Newbie who had tried to enter our community by saying that the majority of Booktube was 20-something-year-old women caked in makeup, standing in bad lighting and apologising for it, holding their books, and had nothing of substance to say. Now, it is fair to have your opinion. However, sir, there is a much better way that you could have phrased all of that. For example, I'm here because I think that Booktube is mainly 20-something-year-old girls or 20-something-year-old pretty girls, and I think that I can give a different aspect and read different books. Now, nobody would have come at you for that, and you would still have maybe got a little bit of your opinion across. But the way that you went out to attack the majority of the community, and you not only did that by insulting our appearance and the way that we build our channels, which is a lot more successful than your channel, you did it by insulting our intelligence, and I just don't feel like that was in any way appropriate. Can't make sweeping generalizations about that. I mean, yes, in your opinion, you may think that some 20-something-year-old girls on Booktube are maybe not the most intelligent people. If that's what you want to believe, then good for you. Still didn't need to voice your opinion, but that still wouldn't mean that everybody is, just because they wear makeup and they hold their books pages out. And let me tell you something about that. If I see a thumbnail and somebody is holding the spines of the books, regardless of whether I am interested in their thoughts on those books, I am much less likely to click on that video, because I like to be surprised with my content. I don't want to like enter into a video knowing exactly what I'm going to see. Like, it just takes away all of the suspense and the surprise of me watching that video. And another thing, so what if I like to read YA? I also like to read adult books, and it's not because I'm catering to children and trying to introduce new readers to books. The majority of the people that watch my channel are 18 to 34, which is my age bracket. And the 18 to 24 portion of that is smaller than the 25 to 34. So the majority of people who watch my channel are my age. We love YA. We don't need to excuse what we love by saying, oh well, maybe they're introducing reading to younger readers and making them excited about books. That's not what I'm doing. I'm appealing to people who are like-minded as me, enjoy the same books that I do, and want to talk about them. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I want to read middle grade, young adult, new adult, historical romances meant for middle-aged women, that's my choice. And if you don't like it, then don't watch my channel. But don't say, oh well, the thing that I'd say to my favourite booktubers is to stop being stupid and holding books in your thumbnails. Don't watch us then. It's like a simple choice. But anyway, that is my tea for Tuesday morning, and pretty much all I have to say on that topic now. The support when the Booktube community came out in force was amazing. I mean, my queens were slaying. Lots of beautiful, strong women caked in makeup came out to represent, and Spence from Common Spence was also a gentleman supporting his Booktube ladies. Guess what we take away from this is that if a man tells us what to do, we get angry, which we should get angry. And Booktube is a wonderful community, and I love it as usual, and I love how we all band together when somebody comes to attack us. I will be checking in with you later for a reading update. However, I just wanted to get this out while it's fresh in my mind. I'm on my way to work, so I'm gonna go do a full day at work because sadly, Mr. Booktube Newbie, I do have to adult, even though you think I'm an immature child. What person in their mid-20s doesn't have to work and has no responsibilities? Please tell me, because I would love to be her. But that's all I have for right now. I hope you're all having a wonderful week. Sorry for bringing the tea to the beginning of my vlog, but I did start on something positive, and I'll check in with you guys later. So these cinnamon buns are from Morrison's, and they are the most beautiful things that I've ever eaten. So get yourself down to Morrison's and buy yourself a twisted cinnamon bun. Or just appreciate mine, because I'm gonna in like 2 minutes. Okay guys, so let's get into how this vlog would have started if I didn't have a little bit of stuff to get off my chest this morning. Let's talk about me first, and it's Tuesday night, and last night my boyfriend went to a concert in Leeds and he got back at about 1 AM. I really wasn't tired because of all the tea that was flying around on Twitter, so I only went to sleep really late, and now I am exhausted, which is why you may notice I have a little bit more of a northern accent than usual. I very much slip into my regular old accent when I'm tired, and I'm pretty tired. So tired that normally I would have done this handheld, but I dragged my tripod over just because I couldn't be bothered to hold my camera in the air. So that is the mood that we're going with so far, but I'm going to fill you in on the books that I'm currently reading this week. So the first one is, as you know, Strange the Dreamer. My bookmark is in at page 234 on this. However, I am 1 or 2 chapters further in than that. I have decided to have this as my audiobook. I'm not sure how much I have of the audiobook left, but I get like a maximum of 2 hours of audiobook time a week unless I absolutely prioritize it. So we'll see how much progress I make on this. I am roughly halfway, so I may make a little bit. I mean, it's not imperative that I really read this at the minute anyway. So anything that I really read just to finish my reread of this off is good with me. From my October TBR, I have started Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I'm only 15 pages in so far. I've picked this up because I'm buddy reading it with Rachel Marie, and we're reading 50 pages a day. It's day 2 and I'm on page 15, so you can see how well that is going. And I know that this is about 2 queens, and the queens are separated by 500 years, however are connected by blood and prophecy, I believe, which makes me think like super high fantasy, maybe something like the Queen of the Tailin, that kind of vibe. However, I read chapter 1 and there were angels, and my eyes just rolled. My eyes rolled so hard because I was not expecting angels. I'm obviously going to continue. I'm not just going to put it down after chapter 1 and see where it goes, but I wasn't impressed with the story kicking off with angels. And then of course, because Kingdom of Ash is out at the end of the month, you know, because I keep banging on about it, that I need to finish Empire of Storms. I'm 200 and something pages into this, 285 of like 700, so I have a lot of progress to make on this, and then I need to read Tower of Dawn. So my plan of action for the week: listen to this on audiobook when I can. I'm going to have about 40 minutes of audiobook listening time tomorrow, so I will make some progress, and then I'll listen when I'm in the shower, and at the weekend I have quite a few candles and things to make, so I'll listen to that then, and we'll see how much I get done in the audiobook format. This one, 50 pages per day, starting with me reading 85 pages now to be actually up to date with where I'm supposed to be at. Hopefully, if I read say 20 pages on my lunch, that leaves me 30 pages when I get home, which should be like easily manageable. So I'll try and keep up with this. This will not be finished this week because it has 500 pages, so that's like a minimum of 10 days. Rachel and I have also agreed to pause if any of us fall behind, because I am obviously very slumpy right now. You all know this. And then any other reading time I have will be going into this. Shall we say by the end of the week I want to be at page 500 on this, so that's 220 pages, which we have, if I don't read any of this tonight, which I probably won't, that gives me 5 days, which is like 40 pages a day, which isn't a lot. So we'll go with that. We'll see what happens. So that is what I'm currently reading. Like I said, I'm now going to get into bed. Well, I didn't say I was getting into bed. I'm in bed, and I'm going to read some Furibon because I am exhausted and I need to catch up on this buddy read. Also probably going to down this because I had pizza for my dinner, which is salty as hell, and I'm very thirsty. And this is like my this is Pepsi Max. This is like literally my addiction. So I'm going to go do that now, and I'll talk to you guys later. So in my exhaustion of the past 2 days, today is Wednesday, I completely forgot to tell you what arrived on Monday, and I don't know how, but my finished copy of Muse of Nightmares arrived a day early. As you guys know, I have already got this in the art farm and read it, but you know, when you get a finished copy, there's some exciting new additions. So, oh, it's just so beautiful. It's just, oh, it's so beautiful. I do have the Illumicrate special editions coming as well, so I will show you those when I get them. There's like extras like art and maps and stuff in finished copies. So here we have, they're not quite end pages, they're just before the story starts where like a map would be. And you have the same in the back. So when I was looking at these, obviously because I've read the book, I can flip to the end. With such a highly anticipated release for me, I wouldn't normally just flip to the end and start looking at the additional content. But I did notice there was quite a few blank pages at the end of the arc, which is where the acknowledgements and things go. So while I found them, I also found out, let me just blank out this page. Here is a cipher so that you can work out what these symbols, I'm making it worse, what these symbols mean on this page, and also the one at the front. So the cipher has like our letters, weep letters, and the other codes in the back, and then you can work out what they are. I have yet to do that. I got really excited to do it on Monday night, but then I had to run out of the house and pretty much go straight to the gym, so I never did get around to it. I may do it this weekend. I mean, today I've got to make a few candles and stuff, so I don't quite have time, but I'm dying to figure out what the codes mean. I'm hoping that it's not just what I know from the story and that it's actually elaborated on a little bit. So for example, in the story the characters might read it and be like, oh, here it says this, but I'm hoping it's like a full page of the thing and that it gives me additional information that is not available in the story, which I feel like it does, because otherwise they wouldn't provide you with the cipher. They just, well, I don't know what they do, but I'm excited to do that, and I'll let you know how that goes when I do it. Obviously I won't tell you what it says because that will take the fun away from you, and also maybe spoilery. I don't know what it says. Hey guys, it's Thursday and I have managed to get tickets to the Laini Taylor event in Liverpool at the end of the month, so I'm going to be meeting Laini Taylor, which is just so exciting. I've only met one author before, and that was Victoria Aveyard, and I'm so hyped. I had the opportunity, I could have gone to the Sarah J Maas one this year. She's doing 2 events and each one is a 4-hour drive away from me, so none of them really were an option. So I'm going to see Laini Taylor. It is in Liverpool, which is still like a 3-hour drive, but most of the drive is a way that I know. I've never driven to Liverpool before, but it's the same way as going to Manchester. You just stay on the motorway a little bit longer, so I should be okay. So I'm super hyped for that. Reading wise, I've read 35 pages of Strange the Dreamer in the audiobook form, so I'm making slow progress on this, but progress nonetheless. We need to talk about Furibon by Claire Legrand. I started reading this, I'm buddy reading it with Rach, but we're both behind. Today we should be approaching page 200, but I know Rach is further behind than I am, and I'm on page 131. So, Furibon is a little different than I thought. You're in this world and there is a prophecy about 2 queens, and the prophecy is that 2 queens will rise who will be able to control all 7 elements, whereas normally you can only control 1. And these 2 queens, one will be the Blood Queen and destroy the world, and one will be the Sun Queen and save them all. So you start off with the person who they thought was the Sun Queen but turned out to be the Blood Queen, but is she? And she's giving birth, and she gives birth to this child that she gives to somebody else and says take her away from here so that she's safe. Then the kingdom is sort of destroyed. So that's like the prologue. Then you go 2 years previous to that, where the Sun/Blood Queen, like her story is sort of kicking off, so that's bringing her up to the point where she gives birth. But then you also have 1,000 years in the future, another girl who reminds me a lot of Mia from Nevernight, but less badass. And she is like an assassin for the Empire. The Empire is like this oppressive government that came in and took over, and are trying to stamp out the people who still support the Sun Queen prophecy. It's very confusing to go into because you are just thrown into the world. There is no real world building. You're kind of thrown into it and then you start to grasp stuff, and it's very complex for the way that you're thrown into it. Like, being thrown into a story is definitely not my favorite way of storytelling. But I got to page 80 and things started to come together a bit, and I do enjoy it more now. I'm really compelled to read, and I am reading it quite quickly. Like, I'm eager to just continue. The story is making me want to read it. But I'm 112 of 500 pages in. Can you see all of my tabs? I have 15 tabs in here at 112 pages. I only have like 10 tabs maximum per book. So I do have a lot of thoughts. I have a lot of criticisms. Tabbed things to do with the prophecy. I've tabbed things that I don't like. For example, in the medieval type setting of the oldest queen, so the one furthest back in time, it'll be like all medieval type language, and then there'll be a phrase that just doesn't fit with the time period and the setting. There's people that can speak to people in their minds, so I've tabbed like the first occurrences of that. There's something called an Adatrox that I don't know what that is, so I've tabbed that. I'm enjoying it, but I definitely have criticisms. So that's where I'm at reading wise. I'm now actually going to go and play Mario Party because the new one, I guess, is the release date tomorrow. The release date is actually tomorrow, but as I told you in a previous vlog, when we pre-order things from shop2.net, they turn up a day early. So the new Mario Party for Nintendo Switch is here, and that is one of my favorite games of all time. I just love it so much. I get so addicted to it. So I'm gonna go play some of that, and I'll talk to you later.
One, two, three. Go on. Go on, out you go.
Some of the ladies are not happy.
Go. Come on, read him. Come on, out. Come on, out. Come on. Go on, out you go. Go on, out. Go on, out. Go on, out you go.
Oh.
Hey. Could have had a free cockerel.
I know, you said.
Them with the brown. Lovely.
Oh, that's it. Fighting.
You bully me. Leave them.
Hello, it's now Friday evening. I've just got in from work. We got some new chickens today, as you just saw us releasing them, and they are beautiful. You also saw the rest of the ones we've got, which are scratty brown ones. And oh my god, I am in love with those grey ones. So yeah, that happened. Tonight, I think I'm going to read maybe 50 pages of Furyborn and then head into Empire of Storms. I'm also not going to the gym tonight, which I do kind of feel bad about, but I kind of just want to sit in bed and read, you know, it's one of those days. So I think I'm going to do that. I'll let you know if anything else exciting happens. Okay guys, so it is Saturday morning. I just woke up and checked my emails and it said a parcel had been delivered. And that parcel is my Illumicrate box that has my special editions of Strange the Dreamer and Muse of Nightmares in. I do also believe that it has a couple of extras in. It has a gift from the publisher and something extra. So I thought I would unbox it here, as it's not like a normal unboxing, it's just got a couple of books in it. Oh no, okay, so this stuff is all extras, I believe. So the first one on top is Muse of Nightmares. So here it is, the UK cover. We have silver sprayed edges, which are just, oh, they're beautiful. And it is signed by Lainey herself, which I'm glad about because I am going to the signing at the end of the month and I really don't need more books to take with me. I think I have 5. Oh, the gold is so pretty. That gold is actually beautiful. The gold is so much nicer than the silver. I feel like the gold looks metallic, whereas the silver is just like a bit grey. And the exciting thing about this is that I don't have the original sprayed Strange the Dreamer because I didn't buy it. And so I could only buy the one with no spray pages. But this one has the printed art from Laini Taylor that the first edition has. So that's just beautiful. And now for the extras. I'm really excited about these because obviously I don't know what they are. First up, we have this beautiful, oh my god, this beautiful art card of Laszlo and Sarai up in the Citadel. And then you have here Minya holding her back, and Ruby and Sparrow are just on the edge here. See if I can get that closer for you. A letter from Laini Taylor. It says, "Dear Illumicrate readers, it was on the writer's retreat in early 2014 that I started playing with the ideas that would become this duology. But Muse of Nightmares goes back much further. She'd been in my head in a wispy way for years. The idea of a young goddess living high above a human city responsible for sending them nightmares. That was all I had, but she stuck around like a patient ghost, and I never stopped wanting to know what her story was. At that retreat, I committed to finding out, and here, 4 years later, is the result. I can't begin to describe how much I love the long engrossing process of taking a simple question like, but why does she send nightmares? And seeing where it leads me. I hope you enjoy the discovery. Laini Taylor." And then finally, ooh. Okay, so it's made to look fancier than it actually is, and why is it backwards? Right, so like it opens the wrong way, like a manga. But here it says Muse of Nightmares Dream Journal, Illumicrate exclusive. And it has the synopsis of the book on the back, and it is just like, it's nothing fancy, it is just a notebook, but it's super pretty and silver, which I appreciate. So that is everything. Oh no, I'll see if you can see that. Actually, Rosie's just fallen off my leg. She was asleep and now she's upside down like this, so let's just flip it the right way up. Hey baby girl. She's just very sleepy. So that's all the Illumicrate stuff. My reading update. Rachel messaged me this morning and she's thinking of DNFing Furyborn, which is sad because I'm actually like kind of enjoying it. My rating at the minute stands at like around a 4. I have a lot of criticisms for it, but I'm generally enjoying it, and I'm not sure if that's because it's kind of pulling me out of my slump or compelling me to read on. But if she does DNF it, that's not a huge problem because I am starting a buddy read today with Mel from Mel Moriarty. I will put a link to her channel and obviously Rachel's channel down below if you don't know who she is. But I love Mel so much, and she asked if I wanted to buddy read something, and I was like, sure. The book that we've decided on I've had on my shelf for a very long time, and I've considered unhauling it more than once. But it's one of those, like, it's not a classic, but it was made into a movie, and it's like a modern classic. It's not a modern classic, but it's kind of like, I had it and I felt like I should read it. I'll probably unhaul it, like I will probably unhaul it, because books like this, I feel like I want to read them, not to say that I've read them, but so that I have actually read them, and then I'm not interested. And it's not a pretty edition at all. It's a mass market paperback, so that would be fine. But that is American Psycho by Bret Easton Ellis. We're reading 55 pages of this a day, but guys, the text is tiny, so I'm gonna struggle. But what I'm going to do is I'm making a lot of candles today, and instead of listening to Strange the Dreamer, I'm going to put the audiobook for this on, which is 17 hours long. That is so long. I did listen to the first 2 minutes of the audiobook last night, and it does sound pretty good. So I'm going to put the audiobook on, try and get some of that listened to today, and make it to page. I think I'm going to 53 today because that's where like the nearest chapter is. So I'm reading this with Mel, and it is about a guy who works on Wall Street, but he's also a psychopath. I'm not sure if he's also a murderer. I would assume that he is, but I don't know. Apparently it is like a dark satirical comedy, and it has graphic violence. So there's that. I'm glad that I'm finally reading this. I was also reading Empire Storms last night. I read a ton of this last night, more than I read of this book in one sitting, probably since I started it. I made it to page 358. So I read like 80 pages, which is amazing considering this is the book that put me in the slump. I'm actually enjoying it now, so I think it was a very good decision to put it down and pick it back up when I'm feeling less slumpy. She's fallen off my leg again. Rosie, what are you doing? So when I've read my section of American Psycho, I'll check in with Rach, see if we're reading to page 250 today, or whether she needs extra time, or whether she's DNFing or whatever, and I will be carrying on with Empire of Storms. Hey, so it's about 4 PM on Sunday, but I'm gonna wrap this up a little bit earlier than usual to give myself a little bit more editing time. So the book I haven't made much progress on this week is Strange the Dreamer. I have read a little bit more of the audiobook since I last put my bookmark in, or have I? No, I haven't. So I'm on page 269 of Strange the Dreamer. I've read maybe 40 pages of this week. However, it is a reread. I don't have to have it done anytime soon, so I'm not like hella mad about that. Yesterday I started my buddy read of American Psycho with Mel, and I'm on around the page 100 mark, so I have maybe 10-15 pages to go for my like section for today. I've been listening to this in audiobook format because it's a lot easier to digest. It's told in like a stream of consciousness style that I just really don't get on with, and I don't like the main character, which is okay because I'm not supposed to, but it just has this really annoying writing style where he's walking down the street and every single person he meets he'll tell you a detailed description of what they're wearing and what brands they are, and I'm just not really loving it. It's also homophobic, sexist, racist. I'm willing to persevere because the audiobook is quite interesting, and he definitely is a psychopath. Like, we haven't had any murder or anything yet, except maybe we have. The writing style leads me to believe that we have, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. The book I've made the most progress in is Furyborn by Claire Legrand. I'm 200 pages in. I'm no longer buddy reading this with Rach because she like raced ahead and finished it, but she doesn't like it and was close to DNFing it. So this is on hold just for a few days. I have a lot of criticisms of this, and I am doing a book diary because it was released in July this year. I'm enjoying it. It's compelling me to read on, even though there are a lot of like critiques that I could make to it. So we'll definitely have more of this next week because I do think I'm definitely going to end up finishing this one next week. And then finally, a book that I've actually made considerable progress in, Empire of Storms by Sarah J Maas. I took the dust jacket off last night. I'm on page 416 of this, so I have read around 140 pages. I'm really enjoying it. It seems that I put it down at the part where it really picks up last time. I'm not slumping with it anymore. I'm compelled to read on. It's interesting. I'm loving it. And this is the book that I'm currently making the most progress in because I think I can finish it soon. I have about 280 pages left of it. I know that I said by the end of the week I wanted to reach page 500, but I haven't actually started reading this for the day. I've been getting my buddy read out of the way and then pursuing this. So 80 pages, I'm pretty sure I can do that tonight, and then I will have met my goal of 500 pages for the week in this book. I will let you know at the beginning of next week's vlog whether I did manage to hit page 500 before the end of this week. So that is it for this week's vlog. Please let me know if you liked it. I am very sorry that these vlogs are getting a little bit long. I'm going to make a conscious effort next week to kind of curb it a little bit because they're just getting longer and longer and it's ridiculous. I know it is, and I'm so sorry. For the person in the comments of last week's vlog who said that they wanted a room tour, because this vlog has ended up so long, I have not done one, but I will get one into next week's vlog for you. So if you guys want to see a room tour, that is coming next week. I even tidied everything. I tidied everything so that I could do my room tour, and then realized when I was editing how long this vlog is and was like, you know what? I don't think I can quite fit that in. So please don't forget to like this video if you liked it and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those. And why am I doing a full outro on a vlog? Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you will go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.